Happiness is freedom. Freedom is having the choice to spend your time doing things that inspire you. Most people want freedom, but many people don't have a clear objective, a roadmap, or a strategy to achieve it. Everyone deserves to live an inspired and free life. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on our most meaningful work, we simply become better human beings. We can give more, care more, support more, and love more. I'm an investor, a trader, and an entrepreneur, and I get to spend every day doing what I love. At the age of 29 years old, I became financially free, and since then my mission has been to help and inspire other people to achieve the same so that they can be more of who they really want to be. Always Free is about having a free mind, being free to question the status quo, free to take risks, free to say no, free to say yes, free from social idealisms, opinions and beliefs, free to disobey, and free to wake up every day and spend your time to make a difference that inspires you. You can have it all. Living a life designed by you isn't a stroke of luck or a result of circumstance. It's a choice. So if you want to learn how to become free and live an inspired life, join me for the #1 show for financial empowerment and wealth creation as I share my insights, tips, strategies and advice on what allowed me to be always free. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jason Graystone. Well, welcome back to the show, guys. I hope you're having a nice week so far. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the #1 show for financial empowerment and wealth creation. And if this is the first time you're listening, definitely go back to the start. Go and listen to episode 1. Hello, Bobby. How you doing? Good to have you all here. Hope you had a nice week so far. Pig's Pajamas, Lisa's here. The winner of last week's hoodie, which should be on its way to you. Eddie McLaughlin, evening. Just had a strategy session with Eddie and a few of the other team. Welcome, Sarah. Hope you're doing well. If this is the first time you're listening, definitely go back and check out the other episodes. We're kind of taking you on a journey here, just like the podcast. If you're familiar with the podcast, we've been kind of going from, taking you on a journey in order so that you get the most effective use out of the strategies in this, can't say strategies with this thing in my teeth, but you get the most efficient use and effective use of the systems and the tools and the tips by going through it that way. So great to have you here again. Got a good session lined up today. Well. So we're going to be talking about a specific topic that came up during an Instagram quiz that I put out. And I asked the question, what is your biggest hindrance or hurdle or fear or potential roadblock when it comes to building wealth? So before I share with you the answer and what the topic of this particular show's about, let me know what yours is. Let me know what your biggest hurdle in the comments, your biggest fear, your biggest challenge, your biggest roadblock, the biggest thing, the #1 thing that stops you or could potentially stop you from getting to where you want to go. Because we had the question come up on Instagram over the week, and the answer was, the one that I wanted to dedicate this session to, was guilt. Not being deserving of it. And it was all around guilt. Okay, and which was causing this person to have a bad relationship with money, which we don't want that, do we? We definitely don't want that. So I wanted to dedicate a show specifically to that particular topic. Chris says, my biggest roadblock is me. Yep. Specifically what though? Like what actions are you taking or not taking that is contributing to that, that problem? It'll be something there. So what I want to start by saying is, there was a guy called Foster Hibbard. Has anyone heard of Napoleon Hill? So Napoleon Hill, he wrote Think and Grow Rich, and Foster Hibbard was Napoleon Hill's #1 student. And then what happened was when Napoleon Hill, hello Robbie, when Napoleon Hill died, Foster Hibbard kind of took over that whole Napoleon Hill franchise, and he basically lectured people on wealth building, prosperity, how to be wealthy, right? And he was the #1 student of Napoleon Hill. And what he said was, I heard him say that the #1 cause for people not building wealth is guilt and shame. So it's literally the #1 cause. And the number one cause that stops people from building wealth is down to not feeling deserved or some kind of guilt and shame. And it's because they don't feel worthy of receiving. And they have like a fantasy. They're like, oh, I want to be wealthy, I want to be wealthy, I want to generate money, I want to have cash, I want to be wealthy, but guess what? They actually don't envision themselves like wealthy as in putting the money into investments. They envision themselves spending the money, if anything, when they get it, okay? Or buying something for someone else as a means of, I'm doing something for someone else. So if you ask the average person, if they had $1 million or $1 billion or £1 million or whatever, what would you do with it? They'd immediately think of what they could spend it on. Most people would think of what they could spend it on. They wouldn't immediately think, what could I invest that 2 billion in, or 2 million in, or 1 million in, or whatever it might be. And I told you the story of this when I was on my estate, when they did the syndicate lottery. Everyone was like, what they would buy. They would spend 20 minutes just talking about what they would spend it on. Okay. So is anyone here in that situation? Is anyone here one of those? Like, do you feel guilt when it comes to building wealth? It's very, very common. And the thing is this, if they don't have a value, or you don't have a value on making it appreciate in value, and all you want to do is give your money to other people to accumulate things that depreciate in value, then you're just going to make everyone else wealthy, okay? And there's a story in Tibet based on one specific article that in history of Tibet, 3 times in history, they redistributed the wealth in Tibet so that everyone had the same amount of money, because there's a few wealthy people, okay, and most of Tibet was poor. So they redistributed the wealth, and in a matter of months, it completely redistributed back into the same hands of the same people, and it was all down to shame and guilt, because people couldn't feel worthy of having the money. They didn't feel worthy of having the money, and they give it back to the people who are accepting of it and are able to use it properly. Just in time. Excellent. It's good to have you all here. Good to have you all here. Now, what's interesting, evening Georgina, what's really interesting is, of course, everyone has a set of values, everyone has a set of priorities in their life, and it's different for everyone. They've got this kind of hierarchy of values, as Dr. John DeMartini talks about. And whenever you build yourself up and like you puff yourself up and you're cocky, right? And sometimes you walk a bit like a penguin, right? You puff yourself up and you go, I'm better and I deserve. How many of you been in that mode at work, right? And you might maybe like, I deserve better than this. I deserve better than this job role. And you're kind of puffed up. And then other times you also feel like you're kind of introverted, and there's a shame there, and you feel less than. Okay? Anyone relate to that? Evening, Neil. Do you notice that whenever you feel less than, you think, I need to do something better about myself? I need to go and do something for other people. I feel guilty. And then when you feel the other side, you're like, I need everyone else to do something for me. Has everyone got that? We all have it. We all have it in some way. At some time in our lives, we all have that. So you're either thinking, I need to do something for someone else, or someone else needs to do something for me. And people have got this kind of image of, this kind of narcissistic image. And anyone got that? Bobby Turner says, yeah, for sure. Felt both feelings. Yeah, right. But the thing is this, when people have this kind of self-righteousness, they tend to think of having other people work for them or do something for them. And then when they're the other side, they have a guilt part, and they tend to think, I should be doing something for others. And it's as simple as that. It's really, really as simple as that. There's a guy called Ayn Rand, and he basically described altruism is actually a self-annihilative state, right? But what that means is we both got both sides inside of us, but when we get like polarized, when we become each of the extremes, we're unable to generate wealth. We're unable to generate wealth in both of the extremes. If we integrate the two and we balance them out in ourselves, we develop the most stable economics for society. Because if we're trying to do one thing and then we're trying to do the other thing, you kind of get this revolution and you get instability. You get it in government. In fact, the word government means governmentus, which means govern the minds. And it's like the mind is bipolar. And just the same as individuals are bipolar, they lose their money. Societies that are bipolar end up destroying the overall wealth of their society and the economy. And it goes to crap because they're polarized on one or the other. So you get the forces driven by power, until the other side comes in and takes over and says, no, you're not having the power, and then the money goes to crap, and it's swinging between the two constantly. There's two forces. Same with the stock market. Same in the stock market, right? And you lose money in the stock market, you gain money in the stock market. A lot of the way that the stock market moves is called greed and fear. It's exactly the same. When you get greedy, you start to think that you're making money really quick, and you get elated about how easy it is and how to get other people's money. And then eventually you over leverage yourself, you get margin on your account, and then you're out the account, it crashes on you, you lose all your money. And then you feel guilty, and you feel guilty about losing the money and fearful about it, and then you sell things, give them away, and then you've got these two emotions, right? And the thing is, unless they're balanced, unless they're centered and mastered, those things will automatically erode wealth. That's why Warren Buffett says, until you manage your emotions, you can never expect to manage your wealth. Simple as that. So any time, to kind of really dig in on that, any time that you do something that you feel is a mistake, or you think that you somehow hurt somebody, right? And you've got a guilt or a shame about that, you devalue yourself and you minimize yourself relative to other people. And you think you need to go and do something to others to help that feel better, to scratch that itch, to make you feel better. And whenever something happens to you and you feel resentment and you feel like someone should do something for you, right? What happens is, on your kind of hierarchy of values, the willingness to receive rewards economically go down the value list. People who feel pride and they feel that they do amazing things, money goes up on their value list. That's why you commonly find that poor people are very humble and wealthy people are sometimes perceived quite arrogant. Has anyone had that perception of wealthy people, that they're arrogant? Well, there was a survey done. There was a survey in Hollywood, and they asked the question, does being a star make you arrogant, or does being arrogant make you a star? And they found that unless you believe in yourself, unless you believe in yourself more than you believe in others, your ability to be a star is a very, very low probability. It's low. You have to believe in yourself in order to become a star. But you also have to have a caring for other people, for humanity. And that means you have to go out and you have to really kind of meditate on what you can do for other people and understand that if you can provide value to them and you can accept fair exchange in the form of money, you're going to balance that out and you're going to build wealth. So look, there was this book, and I learned this from my mentor, Dr. John DeMartini, but there's this book called The Book of Wealth, and it's this book here. Now this original book was written, I think it was written in, I wouldn't even like to say, a long, long time ago. And it was written originally for the 400 most wealthiest families on earth. It was a book written by Hubert Hal Bancroft, and he wrote it and sent a copy out to the 400 most wealthy families on the planet, okay? And the whole book was based on studies that he'd done to find common traits and unanimous traits around the most powerful people and the most wealthiest people on the planet. Now, you can go and get this now. It's a study of over 6,500 years, from the ancient pyramids to vast cities to building the walls of Babylon, all those types of families. And you can go and download this now. You can buy it very cheap. When it came out, it was about $250,000 on auction. And the book is all a study of the Book of Wealth. And what it really boils down to, when you read through all of these volumes, you see some common things that are all evident in everyone who has amassed a great fortune. And the first thing that stands out, the number one thing, was they thought that it was their destiny to share value to the world and serve vast numbers of people across the land. And they believed that they were capable of doing that. The second point was they believed that it was their destiny to also be a form of royalty. In other words, have all the finest things that they want. Have all the experiences that they want. They knew that they could have it. They deserved it. They felt deserved of those experiences, and they believed that they could have all the things that they wanted. And the third thing was that they valued what money represented: time, opportunity, luxury, freedom, comfort. And they understood that it was just a means of exchanging the needs of one person for the needs of another. Okay? And then as economics emerged, as classes emerged, and differences in works and services and products emerged that were of different value, then they had to have a means of fair exchange to support that, and they understood that. That's it. The book's by Hubert Howell Bancroft, okay? Hubert Howell Bancroft, Book of Wealth. I'll put the link in the description for where you can get a copy of this. Took me a while to study this and read it, but it's well worth it. But I just want to say that money is neither good nor evil. It's a means of exchange. And if you see someone, it boils down to this. If you see someone using money in a way that challenges your values, you'll call it evil. And if you see someone using money in a way that supports your values, you'll call it good. But that's really all just a delusion. People who label money good or evil become infatuated or resentful to money, and money runs their life. It runs their life. Not them running their money runs their life. People who understand it and people who serve and value themselves, they run their money. They know their money is a vehicle. Just like words, right, are a vehicle of communication, money is a communication between value systems, and that's all it is. That's really all it is. So money automatically goes down lower on the value list whenever you do something that you feel guilty or shameful about, and it goes up whenever you do something that you feel inspired or proud about, okay? Now, some people will tell you to go and build a great business and dedicate your life to serving lots and lots of people, and that's great. I like to follow these 6 things that I learned from my mentor that help you raise money and wealth building on your value list. And I go through this with some of my clients as well, because the thing is this: if you've got a big enough why, you don't need reminding of the day-to-day. You don't need reminding of why you need to keep on track. No one has to remind me to do this show or a podcast or create products and trainings and services and build wealth. No one has to remind me to check the markets every day or perform analysis every day. I want to do it. I love it. So these 6 things. So many strategies. Cool. So look, this is 6 questions, really, really quick questions. I always say the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. The first question is, how is building wealth, or how is building a business that's serving ever greater number of people going to be service, value, and benefit to me? And you want to answer as many times as possible. You want to extend it out. Don't just answer five times, 10 times. You really want to expand it out and go from how's it going to help you, how's it going to help your family, how's it going to help your family's family, and really extend it out as much as possible. Your health, your wealth, your mindset, your sleep, your diet, like how is it going to help you? And the more answers you can get, the more you will rewire your brain. You'll create new beliefs. You literally, once you get beyond 20 to 50 reasons, you're going to start creating new neural pathways in your brain. You're going to be literally creating new beliefs. The second one is, how will saving an ever progressing amount of my profits from my business or my income be of service, benefit and value to me? And again, you want to write as many answers to that as possible. The next one is, what are the benefits of mastering the art of investing your wealth, growing your money, putting it to work, outdoing inflation, having an account that's forever growing towards your financial freedom. The next question is, what are the benefits of me growing wealth and becoming financially free? A lot of people don't answer this one. This is why I posted a post on lottery winners the other day. We did a poll in our Facebook group and we asked what the biggest fear was of what the biggest hurdle was. And the fourth most common answer was limelight and success. And the reason that lottery winners blow all their money and squander their money and repel it so quickly is because they haven't taken the time to ponder on a question like this and be deserved of it. And say, yes, I am accepting that. I've got acceptance of that. I'm deserved of that. I deserve it. Because what happens is they get the money and then their friends start falling out of them. Families start falling out of them. Conversations are awkward. They get into this trouble, that trouble, and they back off and they want to repel it because they feel, I just want my old self back. I want my guilt. I'm too guilty to have all this. Whereas if you write down, why am I deserved of having it? What are the benefits of me actually having vast amounts of wealth and fortune? If you can do that, you preempt it, and when it comes, you don't squander it. You don't feel any guilt. And then the fifth one is, what is the benefit and value and service to me for creating a legacy? Like literally a legacy beyond myself. The bigger you can think into the future, the more it's not about you, and the more you're propelled forward to create it. Because as I said before, we've got inertia built in. You value money less for every penny you make. If you had £1 and it was 100% of your net worth, you'd value the pound. If you had £10, it's 10% of your net worth. If you got 100 grand, it represents a tiny piece of your net worth. And you got $1 million, you probably throw the pound down the drain, right? So the more money you make, the more you devalue money. So by having a legacy in mind, that's going to pull you towards something greater and allow you to not have that inertia. And then finally, the biggest question, which is a slap in the face, which is, what is my strategy? What is my strategy? Like, what am I going to do? And when you stare that question in the face, it can be really humbling. It can be demotivating, or it can be inspiring. You want to write that down and you want to answer it. And if you're not got a strategy, you want to put something in place to get cracking. So I just want to say thank you for the question that came in that formed the basis of this particular topic. Hopefully you got value from that. Let's have some chat. Let's just see who's here. Great t-shirt. Jay, you're a great guy. Helped me massively over the years through podcasts, YouTube, Insta. I'm an electrician also. Soon to be trader investor. Thank you, mate. You got to look beyond yourself. Absolutely. So that's it. I think that just leaves competition time, right? Now, I told you competition time, no more hoodies. The hoodies are no longer being sent out. If you want a hoodie, you have to go and buy one from the Always Free shop. But having said that, we are going to be sending out goodies as well. So it won't be a hoodie, but we're going to send you out some nice surprises. And the winner of this week is the Canary Lad. Don't know your real name, but the Canary Lad's always here watching, commenting. Reach out to admin@graystone.education and we'll send you out some nice little gifts. Well done. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Hopefully you all got value from that, guys. If you did, let me know in the comments. If not, oh well, you won't be coming back next week. But until then, hopefully you do. Have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you then.